and welcome to the third edition of Sports Talk with Tall and Small. I'm your host, Jordan Sealer, with my other host, Arthur Lane. How you doing tonight, Artie?
Good, Jordan. How are you?
I'm doing great. Another big week in sports. We had the NFL Combine. We have the trade deadline coming up. Spring training started, so we got a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to get right into it. We're going to start with the NFL, starting with the Combine. Big story in the NFL. The decision between Robert Griffin III or Andrew Luck after the NFL Combine. Who is still your who do you think is still gonna be the best?
I think Andrew Luck is still the guy I'd take if I were the Colts. The Colts are built around Peyton Manning right now and his style, and I think that Andrew Luck would fit right in with the pieces already in place that they've set up around Peyton Manning. He's a lot more similar to Peyton Manning than Robert Griffin is, so I think that they still got to go with Andrew Luck in this when they have the first pick coming up. Yeah,
definitely. Obviously Robert Griffin III had a great combine. He ran a crazy 4.41 40 time, and he is definitely a better athlete than Andrew Luck, but you can't pick these guys based on athletics. We've seen too many times when teams take a guy because he has great combine numbers and he doesn't pan out. Vernon Gholston, for example.
Yeah.
Tom Brady had one of the worst combines ever, and he turned out to be a pretty good quarterback. Andrew Luck he has the physical build to be a better quarterback. He's 6'4". Robert Griffin III is 6'2". We've seen small quarterbacks fail a lot in the NFL. I still got to give it to Luck. That's still got to be the guy for the Indianapolis Colts to go for. Again, you made a great comment that they're built better for Andrew Luck, who is more of a Peyton Manning-like quarterback, more of a pocket passer. Robert Griffin's probably more of a scrambler.
Yeah, and he's ready to be a starter in the NFL. Next season.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what's going to happen with the whole Peyton Manning thing. Still, it hasn't panned out, but he's the most NFL ready, and you can't. And all the scouts keep saying this is a can't miss guy. This is like Steven Strasburg, Bryce Harper. You can't miss him.
Right.
So I don't expect the Colts to miss him.
Yeah, and again, Andrew Luck's combine, it wasn't like it was terrible. It was he ran a 4.67, which isn't that much worse.
Yeah.
So Andrew Luck is still very athletic.
Absolutely.
Obviously not as athletic than Robert Griffin III, but he definitely has more tools to be a better NFL quarterback than Robert Griffin III.
We saw him make that one-handed catch this past year. the kid's definitely got some athleticism, so the Colts aren't basing it off athleticism, and Robert Griffin's more of he's probably a better passer than Michael Vick was coming out of college, but he's got the same skill set.
Robert Griffin III, again, he is the Heisman Trophy winner, and he really did have a great season. But Andrew Luck, throughout his college career, was a better quarterback. Again, he went to Stanford, which academically is a better school than Baylor, and I'm pretty sure he had a high 3 GPA. So he's definitely he's smart. And I think that's also important.
Absolutely.
I think that's really what he knew. I think that's what people were looking for at the Common, was what he would do in the team interviews. Where teams would ask him questions, and I still think that he's got to be a better choice.
Yeah, I agree with that completely.
All right, now moving on to staying with the Combine. Every year, NFL Network Total Access host Rich Eisen has a tradition where he runs the 40-yard dash in his suit. This year he ran a 6:03. Do you think he's going to break 6 seconds next year?
I think he gets it next year. I watched the video earlier today. He ran, like you said, he ran a 6:03, and after that, Deion Sanders was giving him a hard time for starting with the wrong hand touching on the ground. So I think that he'll go back through the film, so to speak, and tweak the technique a little, and hopefully he gets below a 6 next year. It was a lot of fun seeing, they compared him to all the quarterbacks. They gave him a 5-yard head start on all the quarterbacks in which he beat Andrew Luck, and it was funny to see.
Yeah, he consistently gets faster every year since 2005. He ran a 6.77 that year. Now he's down to a 6:03. He'll definitely do it next year. It's always fun to watch him do it, especially because he wears his suit when he does it.
I think it's definitely a cool tradition that I didn't know much about until the last couple of years. So I think he'll get it. But another big thing that's come out this week, in relation to the draft, maybe not the combine, but the draft, is that the Rams have come out and said that they're going to trade the second overall pick in this year's draft. So what do we think about this? Do we think it's a good idea, or do we think it's a bad idea?
I think it's a great idea. I mean, the players that they are going to try and get with that pick, they can get, 5 picks later. One of the big things that they need is a big wide receiver. Justin Blackmon fits that role. They don't need to take Blackmon at 2. They can take him a little farther back. Plus, we got a lot of teams behind them looking for a quarterback like Robert Griffin III, who's great combine, really made that pick valuable. Everybody wants to jump up there to get him.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that they're going to do the same thing that you were talking about. And the draft class doesn't have much offensive talent and, top first-round tier picks other than Robert Griffin and Andrew Luck, and they're not interested in another quarterback. They're sticking with Sam Bradford. Right. So there's really no point of them, Sure, they might want Blackmon, but you're not going to draft him.
You can pick him at 7
later, and you can pick up another decent player from one of those teams trying to trade up to get. Yeah,
because as a second overall pick, your team is going to have more holes than one. So Absolutely. It just makes sense now to be able to multiply those picks. Yeah. And speculation that Cleveland's a team looking at Robert Griffin III, and they could be a good match for a trade because they hold the 4th overall and the 22nd overall, which belonged to Atlanta, but Cleveland got it in the draft day trade that allowed Atlanta to draft Julio Jones. So they have 2 first-round picks next year that they could trade to move up to number 2. That would be a great trade, I think, for both sides. Cleveland will get their quarterback in Robert Griffin III, and St. Louis gets their 2 picks.
Yeah, definitely something along those lines, whether it's the Browns or another team, the 7th, 8th pick. There's a couple teams that are wanting to trade up to get a quarterback.
It's a very again, Robert Griffin III's strong showing at the combine really makes that pick a lot more valuable.
Absolutely.
You got so many teams that they need a quarterback. Again, Cleveland, you got Miami. That's just the first 2 that I can think of. But there are other teams that need a quarterback. They're in a really good spot right now. They could keep that pick and take Justin Blackmon if they wanted. But, they can move back and still get him and then get another pick in the process.